Then was that a loon? I didn't get the
Let's get the show on the road, man. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We're gonna go ahead and get it started with our first topic of today, which we have this guy at Amfest. Um, to my understanding, um, let's watch this video. Let's watch this video. If you guys aren't familiar with Amfest, this is kind of like a alt right, uh, young conservative movement put on by none other than Charlie Kirk. All right, let's watch the video.
Because you're only here because your ancestors decided to do that. You come from great men and great women who sacrificed an enormous amount so that you could be here, that kept their faith, that crossed oceans and sacrificed so you could.
By the way, the people he's talking about are the same ones who formed the U.S. and then committed war crimes against humanity via U.S. So that's just, FYI. I'm looking for my cell phone.
Be here in this moment today. It's not a mistake that you're here right now. You weren't born in the wrong time. Things aren't too hard. You come from greatness. It's hard-coded into your DNA. There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
I would argue that it's less greatness, to be honest. It's less greatness and more of guys with guns. They come guys with guns. And when I say they, I mean we, because you know me. Let me try to get my cell phone real quick. Hold up. All right. We're in the game. We're in the game. We're on the money. Freaking, like I said, last podcast, the freaking screen froze. So basically, all you heard was audio. So let's watch this one more time.
You're only here because your ancestors decided to do that. You come from great men and great women who sacrificed an enormous amount so that you could be here, that kept their faith, that crossed oceans and sacrificed so you could be here in this moment today. It's not a mistake that you're here right now. You weren't born in the wrong time. Things aren't too hard. You come from greatness. It's hard-coded into your DNA. There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I don't know who this guy is. I got to do some more investigating, but like this is let me get more into my notes and kind of my deeper thoughts on it. He said they crossed oceans to get here, but the point of crossing the oceans were to enslave and torture and dehumanize the people already here. This is simply a means of trying to rewrite history and paint the oppressors in a positive light. And just because other people enslaved others, like just because slavery has been a practice throughout human history, it doesn't make it right and by no means should be celebrated. So it's like I got this, some of these points were from other TikTok comments, so I'm not the only one who thinks this. But yeah, man, I mean, these Amfest guys are all over the place, bro. Are they Christians? Are they Hindus? Do they colonize? Are they sorry for it? Did they repent of their sins? Did they not repent? Are they anti-white? Are they anti-Semitic? Who knows, bro? By the way, you can't be you can't be anti-Semitic and also support Muslims. So if you support Muslims, you're not anti-Semitic. But it's kind of that's the picture that's being painted here in the US, that if you support Palestine, you're anti-Semitic. No, Palestinians are Semitic people as well. It's just, and I understand it's like more for the sake of conversation, but just Semitic people aren't just the Jewish people. So I hear this anti-white rhetoric being pushed around as if it's anti, in the same way that anti-Semitism is being pushed around. But as I like to reiterate, white people have never had a history of oppression here in this country. Real oppression. Um, so it's kind of like just you're just crying wolf because nothing's happened to you guys. The reason why the black community feels the way they feel is because something really happened here. There was 400 the time is ridiculous enough. Just the time enough, it's like unreal. It's unreal. But there was 400 years of BS that happened here to a certain group of people that shouldn't have. That's why it's now coming back around. Cause and effect. You reap what you sow. The fact that the white community, or mostly the Republican white community, is coming up with this anti-white agenda, this anti-white talk, as if they've experienced the same amount of oppression that their descendants, or I mean their ancestors, committed against certain groups here. It's literally psychotic, bro. It is psychotic behavior that they're at this point they're just throwing words together because the logic doesn't make sense. And if anyone has any rebuttals to that or pushback, let me know, man. Let me know. So, uh, yeah. So let's see. Watch some more Amfest videos. Let's see what Tucker's got to say.
Helps nobody. If you successfully convince an entire generation of young people not to have children, what you're doing is denying yourself grandchildren, which I can tell you at 54 is kind of the only thing you want. And it's not only the only thing you want, it's the only thing that anyone has ever wanted, because having children and continuing the species, passing on your DNA to future generations you will never meet, is the whole point of life. There is no other point, and there's no other accurate.
This is an interesting conversation, actually. I like this conversation. Let's see. Hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish him. Let me let him finish. Let me let him finish.
Society where, and that's not like some only thing you want. And it's not only the only thing you want, it's the only thing that anyone has ever wanted. Because having children and continuing the species, passing on your DNA to future generations you will never meet, is the whole point of life. There is no other point, and there's no other accurate measure of wealth than your descendants. So if you are creating a society where, and that's not like some kooky evangelical view. That's like a very obvious thing. That was obvious to everybody in all human history until about 20 minutes ago. So if you're doing that to your own country and your own children, and they are, and I know because I lived among them, their children aren't doing great at all. They may be rich, but they're totally screwed up. And they're totally loaded up with benzos and SSRIs and addled by porn, and they're as stupid and aimless and doomed as anyone else's children. And probably a higher percentage of them are trans or non-binary or two-spirit or whatever, which is to say, doomed to a life of barren unhappiness. So, what is that? And what it is evil. That's what that is. Yeah! And I think people misunderstand evil. They assume that evil is something that you inflict on other people. I do an evil thing to you because I am evil. And what they miss is that that's not exactly how it works. Evil pre-exists us. Their program helps nobody. successfully convince an entire generation of young people not to have children, what you're doing is denying yourself grandchildren, which I can tell you at 54 is kind of the only thing you want. And it's not only the only thing you want, it's the only thing that anyone has ever wanted, because having children and continuing the species, passing on your DNA to future generations you will never meet, is the whole point of life. There is no other point, and there's no other accurate measure of wealth than your descendants. So if you're creating a society where, and that's not,
All right. What's good, y'all? What's good? My bad. Trying to get this different camera angle in the mix. What's good, TikTok? How y'all doing? Make sure to tune in live. We on YouTube right now. All right, so let me try to finish the rest of this real quick.
their program helped because I lived among them. Their children aren't doing great at all. They may be rich, but they're totally screwed up. And they're totally loaded up with benzos and SSRIs and addled by porn, and they're as stupid and aimless and doomed as anyone else's children. And probably a higher percentage of them are trans or non-binary or two-spirit or whatever, which is to say, doomed to a life of barren unhappiness. So, what is that? And what it is evil. That's what that is. And I think people misunderstand evil. They assume that evil is something that you...
All right. Yeah, so this conversation of is children the ultimate point of life, and like, grandchildren. Should you have children? Should you have grandchildren? Um, the longer I live, bruh, every single day I'm alive, I am more and more glad that I don't have children, actually. And I'm not too concerned about grandchildren, to be honest. Um, and it's interesting because in the Christian perspective, um, when it comes to sex, they only kind of tell you to have sex just so you're not committing adultery. There's nothing at the end of the Bible that talks about the the benefit or that encourages you even to have children. Like, if the whole point is that this world is evil, why would you want to keep bringing more souls into the world just so they can suffer as well? Because that's what's going to happen. And unfortunately, let's look at the causes of death, the leading causes of death inside the US. All right, let's go. What are the leading causes of death in the USA? And COVID-19, get it out of here with that. Let's go. These are the top 10 causes of death in the USA. I want to see, I need to see with this information real quick. Let's see. Because unfortunately, we got to talk about this, y'all. We got to talk about suicide. Check this out. This is the information I wanted. So, here we go. Charlie Kirk is encouraging uh people to have children. Tucker Carlson's encouraging people to have children. But what about when those children grow up to become adults? Check this out. As of 2021, suicide was among the top 9 leading causes of death for people ages 10 to 64. Not even not even a full-grown adult yet. Suicide was the second leading cause of death for people ages 10 to 14 and 20 to 34. The second leading cause of death. This is the information I was looking for. Right? So it's like you're encouraging having children, but they are very likely to around the age of 10 to want to kill themselves. And that's just the unfortunate truth about this country. So, me personally, as of this podcast, as of December 12th, 2023, 9:36 a.m., I'm saying don't have children, bruh. I'm saying don't have children because they obviously don't want to be here. And the young adults, they don't want to be here either. At least not in the US. So, over 48,000 people died by suicide in 2021. There's one death every 11 minutes. Many adults think about suicide or attempt suicide. This is some serious stuff, y'all. Like, normally this show is really tongue in cheek, really sarcastic, you know. But this stuff is no joke right here. And the fact that I brought this up because we got these alt-right, influencers telling everybody to have kids. But the facts are right here and they're not pretty, bro. The effects of having children and the likelihood of how they're going to die is very young, and it's usually self-inflicted. So there you have it, guys. I don't want to spend too much time on that. This originally started by the other guy, but this Amfest thing, and they got Ramaswamy here. You already know. This Amfest thing is I'm concerned about it. So we'll keep it pushing.